Hi, my name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can get winning high stakes speeches, whether it's one on one in a job interview or in front of a small group at a business meeting or in front of a large audience at a conference. Today, I want to talk about getting promoted. I get this question asked a lot. In fact, I get asked by close relatives, how do I get promoted? And somehow they think I have the magic answer that'll tell them, here's what you do and you'll get promoted. So I thought about this and I wanted to give you some idea, which I think is really good. And it's something that I know some people have tried it, and some of it comes from other sources, which I think are excellent. Promotion is very tricky. So before I actually give it to you from a worker standpoint, let me just give it to you from a manager standpoint. If you're a manager and somebody comes to you and says, hey, can you tell me how do I get promoted? As a manager, you really don't ever want to give them what they have to do, because it's not really fair that you're giving this person some tips on how to do it. Promotion is not something you just it's not like a recipe you do and give and they just suddenly boom, it all works out. It's not like that. Part of being promoted is initiative, and the person's taking initiative on how to get promoted, but that's not good enough, right? So if somebody came to you and asked you, how do I get promoted? The way I advise managers to answer that is, said, listen, do your job well, keep doing your job well, add value, to your team, to the company, to me, and if a spot opens up, I will definitely consider you. That's it. Okay, so that's the so-called politically correct answer, and that's great. And that's what you give to everybody who comes to you with that question. Okay, but if you're an employee, so now I'm going to wear a different hat and I'm advising. The managers are all gone, now you're an employee. What kind of an advice would I give you if you're an employee and you came to me and said, I want to get promoted in my company, what should I do? Okay, the first thing you have to realize is you got to be good at your current job. I mean, you got to get stellar reviews. You got to nail that. If you don't have that, you're not promotable. Okay, I hate to tell you this, you're not promotable. Now you might say, well, what about Donald Trump? He got promoted from no experience to the president. Look, in democracy, anything is possible, okay? But corporations are not democracy, so ignore Donald Trump as an example. It doesn't work. In companies are not democratic. Companies are really kind of autocratic, okay? So don't use Donald Trump as an example here. It's not going to work. Okay, so we took care of that. Companies promote people almost like if you are a peer. So what do I mean by that? Before I get to that, so one thing I just want to repeat again is you got to nail your current job. You got to get stellar reviews, whatever the top rating is. If you don't have that, then you have a problem. You got to get that straightened out first. The second thing is you got to become a peer. So if you're doing your current job well, it means they like the current job, but that's where you're going to remain. So you have to kind of look at it this way. You're here, and there are two interfaces you face, right? The current one, you got a excellent review, so that's great. You took care of that. That takes 1/3 of the problem. Then there's an interface below that, and then there's an interface above that. What does that mean? You got to make the people below you, if there are people that are kind of reporting to you as if you're a team leader or whatever, you have to make them better. Okay, so that's important. And that probably is the reason why you're getting stellar reviews at your current position, that you're making people below better. That's important. And that's good. That keeps you in the current position and it gives you somewhat of a job security. But it doesn't help you get to the top. So how do you do that? You have to make your boss look better too. Now by that, what do I mean? I mean you should offload some of the work that manager is doing, that manager doesn't want to do. I mean, every manager has to put up with a lot of crap. Take some of that away from him or her and say, you know what? if there's anything I can do that can make you focus on what you want to, I'd be happy to do that. So now, as you start doing little bit like that, your relationship with that manager is not, you know, a superior subordinate. It's almost becoming at a peer level. And that means that at some point, if he moves to a higher position, you get his or her position, or if there's any other position in a company that's opening up, you can move into that. And even if you don't move into that, you're getting that experience on what it's like being a manager. And you may find out you're not cut out for that. You have to put up with a lot of crap that's not for you. So it's very important to offload some of the work that that person above is doing, your manager, and start doing some of that. And that's how you get promoted. You can't just get promoted from boom to boom without a nice smooth transition. And so that means that if you want to get promoted, you almost have to be proactive and start now and say, hey, is there anything that you're doing? Is there a particular thing that you need done? I can do it for you. Is this you want to do? I'll do it for you. So you're taking away a lot of his or her work away from her that's tying up her time so she can, or she can focus on trying to get to the higher position, because that's what he or she wants. She doesn't want, and that's another thing. You don't work for a manager who's happy with his or her current status quo, because if that's the case, then you're not getting promoted. In fact, that person is going to be like, no, I'll do everything. So you don't want to work for that kind of manager who wants to basically grab everything. You want to work for a manager who's willing to offload, and you're proving it. And the more and more work you're offloading from the manager, you become promotable. It's almost at that point just a formality and saying, let's say you're Jane. Jane is already doing the work and everybody's seeing it. Jane is now the new manager and nobody will object to that. That's the right way to get promoted. Now, this is exactly what's mentioned in Sheryl Sandberg's excellent book, Lean In. And I think this comes up right in the beginning of the book, where she gets a call from somebody that she had worked with or she knew socially, not that well, but she got a call from a woman by the name of Lori Goldberg. And Lori asked a very important question. What is the biggest problem that you are having, and how can I solve it? And Sheryl Sandberg was kind of taken back, like, whoa, nobody's ever asked me that. People always ask me, like, here's what I do and here's what I can do for you. But Lori's approach was much different. And Sheryl Sandberg, when she said that, said, the problem that I'm really having, which is very important, is recruiting. I'm not good at it, and it's critical to my success, and you can help solve it for me. And that's exactly what Lori did. She got hired, she worked on recruiting, and today she heads the HR for Facebook. I mean, it's all in the book. Sheryl Sandberg had given you, everybody, whether you're male or female, how to get promoted. That's how you get promoted. You don't get promoted. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is, when she was hired to do that, she wasn't given that title. But since she was so good at it, and she went in and tried to solve it as a problem rather than, hey, I'm not going to do it until I get the title. That's not how Lori viewed that. She said, hey, that's the problem. I said I can solve it. I'm going to solve it. Then it was very easy for Sheryl Sandberg to make her the head of HR. And that's exactly how you get promoted. So that's how Sheryl Sandberg does it, and I think that's how you can do it too. If you want to get promoted, don't complain, don't talk about it. Start adding value to the manager. Start solving his or her biggest problem. And if you do it well, then you deserve the promotion. You won't even have to ask. You'll get it, okay? So I hope this makes sense, because this is something that gets asked a lot. Like, I'm doing great work, but I'm not getting promoted. Well, nobody's told you how to do it. And now you know. And it works. Try it, and let's see what happens, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for watching, and good luck with the promotion you're trying to get.